All right. Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, we are going to get into a specific message. By the way, these specific messages, I usually do one, maybe two per week, but these are the ones where I also do leave the comments on. If you would like to jot the word heal, HEAL, although I don't care how you spell it. But if you want to type that in the comments after this video is done being live, that gets you entered to win for Monday. On Monday, I go ahead and go through the comments, and just wherever my finger lands, I just kind of do a random scroll in one of the specific messages, and where my finger lands, that's who the winner is. And then I do a little fictional storytelling on Monday for a winner. Okay. So just FYI, hi guys. Violet, you're first in the house, babe. Hi, Carolyn Dean. Divine Echoes myself, Polka Dot Suzanne, Sunflower's Moon Power. Thanks so much for being here, guys. Sunflower Moon Power, you know I love that alien emoji. I feel like I'm right there with my group. Annette Summersby, Crystal Rose, Yippee, Lions Queen. Hi everybody. All right, so for this one, what I have in mind was somebody that was either eating Jello or jelly. Now it was specifically in the like reddish or purpley color tone, not like orange or apricot or something. But I couldn't tell what it was. I only knew it was, if it was like jelly, it was quite a blob of it. Like, and I don't know if they were going to spread it out, or if they're just like, somebody who mows down on spoonfuls of jelly. It looked like somebody had plopped it down on like a bowl, a plate. Maybe it was a piece of toast. I couldn't tell. I just knew it was something jiggly, sweet, and something somebody was looking forward to eating it. Now, I don't know if the concept around this is the fact that, it's like a Jello is weird. Even jelly is weird, right? Because it's kind of like in between two consistencies. It's not really a solid. It's not exactly a liquid, but it lives between two worlds. So I don't know if this is going to be a representation of like maybe somebody's emotions. There's when we say, "Oh, my legs went and started to feel like Jello." It's like when we feel wobbly. That could be the way to look at this. I don't know yet. Or maybe it's just depicting our character. Maybe they really dig jelly. They're big jelly fan. We got a Six of Swords in the reverse. This is somebody who's not out of troubled waters, so they may be shaky. This could be somebody who's a little bit trembly right now, and that could be because they are not in a place of calm at the moment. They could be rattled. Oh, lovers, it could be rattled in a good way, though. If somebody's knees are going weak, maybe it's because of a kiss. Oh, that kiss, unstoppable. I don't know who sings it, but that's a country song, female singer. Probably really late 90s, maybe even early 2000s. We have the Guide sideways. Boy, I would say this is a two-way street. This is something very exciting, very special, because we have two mythical beings. And here we've got this mermaid, and here we've got Pan. Pan is known to be our lusty rustic god in the Greek pantheon. Mermaids are, kind of like sometimes sirens or those elusive, very alluring individuals. So I'm going to say these are two people that have an incredible attraction for each other. Let's ask why the guides are here. And we actually see two birds flying around them. Knight of Wands. Okay, so is this going to be a first meeting where two people have been guided toward each other, and it's like, wow, they are completely like they're feeling the feels here. There's a reason their guides have like ushered them toward each other, because this is what they're both attracted to. Is that what it boils down to? This is what they're both let's just say rocking each other's worlds. Okay, we do have the devil though as well. Now the devil does not have to be negative. It could just be the devil is that lusty energy. The fact that we're starting out with that concept, and I never know what we're going to get out of these specific messages when something pops into my head at random, and then I try to figure out what is that representing, right? So it's probably not two people necessarily eating jelly or jello. It's probably more got to do with the emotions, although who knows? Maybe they're also eating something like that as they're thinking about each other. I have no idea, other than to say we have intensity And that's why we don't have any sense of peace. And the intensity seems to be coming from that flush of desire and passion. I would not put anger into this at all. We see nothing that says anger. We only see desire and passion here. And again, because the guides brought two people together, that's why I would not put this into like, oh, maybe one's worried that the other one's cheating. I don't see that. If anything, with this Three of Cups, I would say this could be two people at a social event, and this could be their first meeting. And it's like, you want to get out of here? Because I would much rather go someplace quiet and solo with just you. There's too much noise here. We're in too close of quarters with other people to be able to like talk about what we want to or interact the way we want to, because this feels like we have two people that have other things on their mind other than talking. We've got a Nine of Pentacles. There is a need to handle this like with great respect, because keep in mind the Knight of Wands can be like a one night stand kind of energy. I think that it's really important to whomever's about to make their overture. And by the way, I didn't mention it, but we may have a Capricorn involved here. We may have a Gemini involved here. By the way, we did just put out a Gemini video a little earlier this evening. All zodiacs have been done, but I still owe Cancerian a video here right after this. But I would just say that there is like the importance of making sure, especially if somebody's going to suggest like, hey, you want to get out of here? Hey, you want to come with me someplace quiet? Hey, you want to come back to my place? They're like, I need to make sure that it doesn't come across as, I'm just looking for a piece of tail. I think that there is the importance of conveying, I'm interested for the right reason. And there is a respect here. We have the Fool. We have the Sun sideways. We see two dragons jumping through this portal. I would say we have two people on the same page. I get it. I know you respect me, but you also would like to go someplace else with me. I feel the same way. I would say this is a shared, this is two people vibing. To put it simply, this is two people that are very drawn to each other. Two people that don't want to be around a bunch of other people because they just want to be in this little world, just the two of them together. And it's exhilarating and it's fun and it's exciting. And it's also like, handle with care. I don't want to disrespect somebody before we even get a chance to, start something, basically. I think that this is going to be handled nicely, but it is off like a rocket. Let's be honest. This is an intense romance, and it's starting at intense right out of the gate is what it looks like. Universe, you want to weigh in real quick and just give us one message about this? We have the Strength card. These are both powerful, equally balanced, like alphas. Both of these characters, if they see something that they want, someone that they want, I think that they're both really good at wearing their heart exactly as it is. I don't think either one of them is shy. She has no top on here. And while I think there's nothing inappropriate about that, I don't want YouTube, so I have to be delicate. But anytime I see any character that does not have a top on, to me, it always says that's because they don't feel the need to hide their heart. That's a heart space, So anybody who ever shows their chest, my interpretation is always, this is somebody who is completely comfortable in how they actually feel. And especially when we couple that with a Strength card. But we have two people on that card. I know one is a lion and the other one is a feminine, but the bottom line is still the same. These are two people that don't really run from what they want. They go right toward it, calmly, locking eyes. Maybe both of these people have the sensuality of like the feline. Cats are if you've ever seen them in hunting mode, or even if, how a cat looks at you and they decide, you're petting my fur, and they come at you and it's like very sensual. And they like command what they want, and you are compelled, even if you don't like cats, which I don't know how anybody could not like a cat, but you will find yourself petting a cat because the cat says you're going to. I kind of feel like both of them have that compelling sensuality. And when they lock on to who they like and who they want, I don't think that they're shy about it. Good for them for like being forthright. It's so refreshing to see characters that are actually confident in their sensuality, confident in their intentions. And I'm not going to say that these two don't have it doesn't mean that they're always bold and that they're always gregarious. It could just be that they're at a point in their lives where they're like, if I'm attracted to somebody, I'm damn sure going to show it, because how else will I ever even make a start if I never put my energy to it? Also, if two people are vibing, they could be playing off of each other's confidence and saying, you're giving me the reaction that tells me you like me too. That's why I'm being more bold. We're also touching base with each other saying, I'd like to ask you, do you want to go someplace more quiet so we can just talk? Because I don't really want to be around a whole crowd. I just want to be around you. But I want to make sure that you understand, like, it's because I like you. It's because I respect you. That seems to be really important. So they're definitely playing it very straightforward, but they're giving each other that positive reassurance that, yes, we're on the same page, especially with the Temperance card. I think we've established that these two are not just drawn to each other, attracted to each other, but there's something here where they're balanced and equal in the, like, uh, like they actually are seeing something that they like in one another more than just, oh wow, you're so hot. I would say reassuring one another that I'm interested in you as well. At least that's what the universe is saying on this. This is a story of two people who are pretty confident about what they want, what they like, and they're reassuring each other that, yep, I like you too. Okay, so this isn't difficult. Nobody's playing games. Even if there's a lot of sexy banter, and there could be because of that Knight of Wands. Sorry, I feel like my hair is scratching my face, tickling my nose. Okay, give me another one here to describe. Let's go back to them. Magician, Nine of Wands, Chariot. You know what? This storyline may only go so far. This is the beginning, and this is two people like really interested in each other, but you notice, even though this looks really strong, even though they both look really bold, you notice they'll only go so far, and then it's like, but manifesting what we want, talking about what I'm looking for, being flirtatious, and then also maybe pretty much bearing their souls for just a split second and saying, the one thing I'm not looking for is a heartbreak. I really like you. I really have been looking for somebody just like you. The only thing I'm not looking for is a heartbreak. Kind of like, please don't hurt me, though. Like, I'm gregarious. I'm open. I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel. Please be for real and don't hurt me. Like, that's what it seems like. And I think that that's where this storyline pulls back a little bit. We start out like, oh, wow, these two are going to, jump all over each other. And then we say, actually, they're not. They're going to jump at the chance to get to know each other. They're going to jump at the chance to show each other that they're interested. And they're also doing probably the scariest and most brave thing, which is to be as vulnerable as they both are, to say, I really like you. I really have wanted to meet somebody like you. I really don't want to miss a shot with you. And I also really don't want to go too fast, only because I don't want to get hurt. I think it's way harder to be that vulnerable, to say everything that you want, and then also to say, and I'm so scared that maybe you'll change your mind about me. So I want to get to know you just a little bit more, a little bit slower. So this is, I would say, this is probably the strongest characters we've seen, like probably the most honest characters we've seen in a long time, as far as like they know exactly what they're scared of, and they're actually going to say that out loud too. Queen of Wands. This works so perfectly because you notice she's like, yes, you can't come in my house yet. You can't come in my bedroom yet. But I really wish you could, but I can't let you in my bedroom yet because that'd be real easy to do. But I too have this gate behind me. You notice how they're both standing in front of the gates saying, I can only go so far because I have to protect myself because I am scared of getting hurt. But I want to lean right into this relationship, but within limitations. And I think that the answering response is correct. You can't come to my bedroom yet either. You know what? These two are so likable. They're cracking me up. They're so outgoing, outspoken, so sensual, and also like so strong in their vulnerability, if that makes sense. Five of Swords. I don't know. I feel like, normally this is one of those cards of like fighting, conflict, wanting to win. I would say this is more like comical banter between these two. Like, okay, I promise if you come knocking on my door late at night, I promise I will brandish a broom at you and chase you away. It almost feels like they're both making the promise. So if I try to persuade us to move too fast, you better tell me absolutely no, no. And likewise, if you try to seduce me, I will tell you, keep your hands off. It feels like these two are kind of like cutely setting even a timeline. So how long do you think we should set it? Let's set the clock. How long do we need to get to know each other? What's our wheel going to look like? This is about timing, right? Wheel of Fortune is always about divine timing. I kind of think that both of these characters realize that we're already well on our journey. This is not the beginning point of a journey. These characters have jumped ahead like months into a relationship simply because they're laying everything on the table. All their cards are on the table. Their fears, their desires, what they like about each other, but also the fact that they've got to go slow enough because they don't want this thing to get mangled. They want it to work. So let's actually spend time together. But what do you think is an appropriate amount of time? I don't think that there's two people saying, oh, we'll just let the divine figure it out. No, they both want to know when the green light's going to be. I feel like this is two people saying it needs to be at least a lunar cycle. Something has to be cyclical. And the first cycle I can think of, I mean, I guess we could say 24-hour time period, but I don't think so. My first instinct is a lunar cycle. Maybe these two are like, can we get to know each other for a month before we do anything more than just a chaste, goodnight kiss? And I feel like this is two people saying, yeah, I think that sounds like a good timeline to put on things. It's just, it's really nice because they've already walked way down this journey of, they already know they're interested. They've both admitted, I want this to actually go somewhere. So they've already stated their intentions, right? Usually if two people start to flirt, it's all murky and it's like, okay, we're having fun, but I don't know what they really think of me. Okay, then maybe we jump into a physical contact, but we still don't really know what the other one's looking for. These two are doing it in the reverse, and I would argue in the best way, maybe the most like perfect way to avoid conflict and confusion and hurting each other, which is they're stating their intentions first, but then not acting on them, and instead laying out a timeline on purpose, not because they want to have to slow things down, but because they really, really want to make sure that they get that this could go somewhere, that there can be trust built before the physical contact is there, even though the physical contact is obviously or physical attraction is off the charts. But it looks so good that these are characters that are setting a timeline on purpose because they're also reassuring each other. King of Pentacles. Now it's just, okay, we got the hard thing done. We have an amount of time where we're going to invest fully in getting to know each other. And I kind of feel like this is two people saying, okay, so then that means I'm going to let you get to know the real me. I'm going to give the best of myself, but I also really want you to know the real me. So in this month, I got to show you the good, the bad, the ugly. I got to show you, how I live and how I do things and how I process things. Two of Swords in the reverse. And it's like, yep, don't hold anything back. We got to know at the end of a month whether or not we're allowed to proceed with physical connection. And it's like, well, let me make sure you see the real version of my character traits so that I can either drive you away so you're not still physically attracted to me, or that what you'd be getting into. I feel like this is two people really, they started out being brave enough to bare their souls, but they're going to really continue on. I don't think that this is two people trying to drive each other away. I just think that this is two people that don't want to have to be on good behavior per se, and then later find that they can't even have a comfort zone together because they started out pretending to be different people who they were. This is a duo saying, I want you to know my ugly first. I want you to know my fears. I want you to know my triggers. I want you to get a chance to get to know the real me. And I don't want to be uncomfortable around you. So then I know if you stick around after a month and we choose to go into a physical connection also, I know it's because you still like the real me, not because I got to be worried. What if you, decide, oh, I'm unpalatable to you. I don't want to get rejected like that. So I think it's such a much better way. This is very brave, and I think it shows that both characters are really investing. But the big thing is, I want you to either like me for me or leave me for me. Either way, we can't fake anything. It's nice because on one hand there's less investment here, right? Because they didn't step across the lane into the physical connection, although they both stated I'm super physically attracted. But you don't know me and I don't know you. You We got to do that part first, and then if you're still physically attracted to me after you know me, then I know you really like me. I think this is a really great way for these characters, for their personality types anyway. This is a great way for them to end up in the 10 of cups. No wonder though that this would be exhilarating and be, like wobbly jello. Maybe because it's so refreshing also to say, I can't believe we're having this real of a conversation right out of the gate. And it might also like make two people feel very hopeful that maybe this time, maybe this one would really work out, because it sounds like they want happiness too. It sounds like they're in this for the long haul. They're looking for somebody for the long haul, somebody that they can actually laugh with, somebody who wants, they want the rainbow. Shouldn't a relationship always be happy? Isn't that like the reason we pick a partner, is because they add something to our life that is light and joy? If that's not what we bring to each other, then what the hell are we doing? I just feel like that's such a refreshing attitude in this. And I love the way these characters are going at it. But the big thing is they both decided, at least this is what the universe says, they both decided to do the brave thing. I'm laying every card I've got on the table first. If you can't start out by laying your cards on the table, then we're already done. If these two hadn't met each other exactly in the same spot, nose to nose, eyeball to eyeball, unafraid to express how they feel, if one of them was going to hold something back and be like, okay, well, I want something from them, so I'll manipulate, pretend like I'm giving my all, but I'm really not, then this thing would crash and burn. I don't see that in this. Maybe that's why they're mythical creatures. Maybe because they are characters that are so willing to put all their cards on the table from day one. But here's the thing. These characters are so smart because they're advocating for their own best outcome. They both want a 10 of cups. Why would we ever not give the best of ourselves, lay all of our cards on the table, and try to get what we really want out of life? We probably can't get what we really want out of life by, especially not when it comes to relationships, by manipulation tactics and such. So these two don't have any of that intention. There's no guile. There's no game playing. They just are like, I want the best, which means I have to go after this. And the only way I know how to do that is to be as real as I can be, so that hopefully I get what I really want. That is the foundation. And this is two people matching each other beautifully in that same perspective. And I think it's because they're both very brave and maybe very mature. And again, they advocate for what they actually want their life to look like. They don't get off on like manipulating other people, playing games. If they were like that, then I would say, well, these aren't people that are ready to be in a relationship, period. And hopefully nobody's in a relationship with them if they're game players. But we don't have that here. We only have characters that are like, my life matters too freaking much to mess around and waste my time or anybody else's. I want somebody nice. I want somebody good. I want somebody that's attracted to the real me. Or it's better if they leave me anyway if they don't like the real me. I know who I am. Can't change me too much. There's some stuff we can moderate to, if our partner likes this or that, it's like, oh, sure, I don't really love sports, but you do. So sure, I'll go to some sports games with you. Like there's stuff that we do to make a partner happy that maybe isn't our big thrill, but the essence of who we are as a person, I don't think you can force yourself to pretend to be someone that you're not your whole life without being fucking miserable. So I love the fact that these are two characters that are not trying to be somebody else. They're hoping that you get to know the real me, so you decide if you like the real me, because I probably can't change it for you. So you got to like the baseline here. I would say these are two people that are very much in an energy of knowing themselves well, and also extremely willing to like grow in a relationship as well. These are two characters that would probably be the most willing to actually be adaptable, but without ever sacrificing their own personalities, if that makes sense. I think these are two very giving people that are not over giving. They're not like, you know, so empathic that they will lose track of what they care about in order to just people please. This is great. There's some awesome boundaries around this. We have the sun sideways, we have the Knight of Cups. They both want to know what the other one likes, how the other one wants to be loved, how the other one, like reciprocates or shows love. But it's like, I'd like to give you everything, but I also know we should probably work up to that. I'd like to, build an empire with you, but we do first have to understand, like what our favorite flavored jelly is. So we know what jelly to have in the house to have toast together in the morning. Once you are allowed to spend the night, it just feels like this is two characters that are like, I got to first know what makes you happy. That's a really important thing, because then I'll know if what makes you happy, like what if one person is like, oh, I get bored really easy, and if you don't entertain me and delight me, I get bored with you and I'll want to go meet somebody else. Sometimes people love bomb and they get really excited when they first meet somebody, and then they're like, okay, this is boring now. And what they don't realize about themselves is they only thrill for the chase, not for the relationship building. This is a good way to say, I got to wait and see. What if what makes you happy isn't really me, but just the newness? So let's let the newness wear off. Look, I don't think this is a problem for these two at all, especially not with the way they're approaching it, but I can see why these would be some of the questions that these two need to answer. They need to know what makes you happy. And then the fundamental question is, do I make you happy? The real me, my day-to-day life, the way I am, the way I do things. Are you satisfied with that? Would that make you happy? That's a question I got to know the answer to, but you need to know the answer to that. And I think that's the remarkable thing about these characters. It's like they want to answer that for themselves, but they also want the other person to be able to answer that. So if you pick me, know who you're picking, and vice versa. Universe, do they make it? I am cheering for these two. I am so cheering for these two. Do they make it? The universe is like, these two should have met each other a really long time ago. They probably had many heartbreaks, and on one hand, they intuitively knew a long time ago with this Wheel of Fortune that this is what they were looking for. But I think maybe they didn't have the same boldness that they've got now. This feels like characters who have known all along this was the right path for them to take in order to like have success in a romance. But instead, they ended up heartbroken a couple times. They ended up meeting people that were heartbroken and hiding things. I think they both tried to maybe love people that were wounded by previous things, and in turn they got left by partners that were never going to open up their heart. And I think that they have known all this time, this is the key to having a successful relationship. When I say, will they make it, the universe is like, yeah, they could have already like had success had they weeded out certain romances in the past. They might have found each other a little sooner, but never mind. It still is the perfect time. Maybe it's even perfect that the two of them have had enough heartbreaks in the past, dealt with people that were not open, were not fearless. Maybe that helped them to become more fearless. But again, this just says they've known this for a while. Maybe they just kind of had to keep practicing and keep their standards up, and now we're ready for these two to rock. But it says like it's divine timing for these two to finally have like the real happiness. So I think these two are going to make it. All right, I'm going to leave this one here. That was a little shorter than usual. I like the fact that it wasn't so drama filled. In fact, it was two people that are so done with drama. That was kind of one of the greatest, most streamlined, most authentic and likable duo of characters I think I have seen in a really, really long time. You guys, thanks again. So nice to see you. Happy Saturday night, everybody. I'm going to do a Cancerian video right after this. So if you feel like hanging out, I will see you in Cancer's video. And then at midnight, I will post that today's topic video. Tomorrow, we'll start in on the messages for November. And I will attempt to get one for every single zodiac done tomorrow. Sometimes my best attempt doesn't make it, but I try. Bobby, great to see you. Hey, sweet. Luminous Marina. I know, right? NH, thank you, babe. Thanks so much for giving it a thumbs up, you guys. That means so much to me. D'Artagnan, aka Yippee. Thanks for being here, babe. Squish Bish, hi. Thank you, sweetheart. DLB JR Cooper, hi. Vertical Rising. Anisha Chatu. No, Luminous Marina, I'll tell you the whole time that I didn't mention the song, but it was in my head. There's a great song, Champagne Coast, Blood Orange, or Blood Orange Champagne Coast. Anyway, the lyrics are come to my bedroom, come to my bedroom. It's a great song though. Supernova 333, awesome to see you. Eduardo Jimenez, hi hun, how are you? Bobby, that's awesome. You worked at a carnival? That is so cool. I bet that was really interesting. I had a good friend whose dream was always to run away with the circus. I mean, like that was his dream. And he knew that would be like the most exciting life. And I was always like sure that one day he would be gone and he would have, run away with the circus. But I don't know why. He was a very intelligent, very exciting person, good friend of mine. So anyway, to hear that you worked for the carnival, I was like, oh, that's like, I don't know. I think of like very eclectic, very, characters that want to like live life experiences. That's what that makes me think of. So adventurous. So thank you for the nice memory. Polka Dot Suzanne, it's so good to see you, babe. The classic slasher. Hey, hey. Did you just eat some Jell-O? That's hilarious. I will admit I've never been a Jell-O eater. I'm the only person in my family. Every holiday, we always have like this, like that cranberry holiday Jell-O. And I make it every holiday for the family. I carry on the tradition. It was my mom's recipe. And like one of the sisters in the family always has to make it. It's fallen to me now. And it's funny because I'm the only person in the family that won't touch it. I think it's disgusting. And it has like this weird sour cream cheese frosting on it. And it's like, well, it's Jell-O. And then you put in cranberries, whole cranberry sauce, and then you put in, they like nuts in it. Don't ask me why. That's even worse. And a whole bunch of pineapple, crushed pineapple, and then you frost it, and it's so weird. And my family adores it. Everybody in the family but me. And I cannot wrap my head around why these people eat this. How am I part of this family? But by contrast, they don't understand how I like those waxy covered chocolate donuts. I'm the only person who eats those. So, we all have our weird palate, right? Melissa Estes, it's great to see you. Lion Queen, so glad to see you. I know, Yippee. I know it's Yale. Yale, I know you by so many names. Even when you don't have the yellow rose, I still know it's you. Didn't I tell you that once? I was like, I can tell just by your writing that it's you. Grant's Modern Life, Crystal Rose, Marikai Healing Arts Ohio. Hi, honey. And Violet, you were first in the house tonight. All right, you guys. I'm going to bounce on out of here, check up on my baby. I hear him. If I didn't get to say hi to you guys in the chat, forgive me. I've got to go see Aries. I hear him chomping on something, and he shouldn't have something to chomp right now. I got to go see what he's got. All right, you guys take care. Aries.